Hello, City. Hello, world. And welcome to another installation of the Gospel Jazz Connection. Wow. This has been a whirlwind of a week. And we just have to pray for those that are really not feeling the love. Let's put it like that. Feeling the love this week. We had one of our better cities. Let's put it like that. Thousand Oaks had a shooting last week and followed up the next day. And this is an eclectic area. We have attorneys, not only people that are in law enforcement, but everyday citizens that were affected by this club where it was like a gathering spot for people that like country and western music. And it just was attacked by somebody who just thought that their way of looking at things was the right way. Another clear-cut sign of the dysfunction that comes behind mental illness. And as they still try to work this out, they're going to find a whole lot of things that have gone beyond that. But we're going to address some issues today because we decided to have some experts on the panel today with my young ladies here. And we're just going to go ahead and for the next hour, we're just going to usher in some wisdom. I'd like to thank and put a shout out to our Facebook listeners and also our faithful listeners that watch and follow us. And I hope that you get what you're looking for in here, because believe me, we're going to bring enough answers to the problems. We don't just possess problems and bring them to you, but we have solutions. So this is what we're doing for the next 60 minutes. You're listening to the Gospel Jazz Connection. This is D Nice, and I will be back to introduce the ladies of the hour. Right now, we're listening to some smooth jazz, and followed up by a show from Talk outside the yellow window. So just for the next hour, do this. Just sit back, relax, and watch with your ears.
Looking out the window and saying, I can't believe it's fall. It doesn't seem like it. We didn't have any warning, but something quietly lets us know the time is different. It's not the same. A magazine came in the other day and it said, okay, you've got things hanging in your closet and it looks like the middle of a summer day, but this is fall. And that's advertisement. What they're saying is, what you have is not enough for what you're going to. But the Lord, on the other hand, says, now when I talk to you, I'll take any verse from any part of the Scripture, and I will make it current for you. I will help you rightly divide the word of truth. I'll let you see, that does not go that way, but it will work. You have enough. The Lord says, what do you have in your hands? And then it's ours to say, what we need, Lord, we've seen you do so much. Then he doesn't have to come back and say, have you not seen me do? When I start to doubt, then I know better because I've seen him do. You say, if I were to tell you some of the things that I've seen God do, you could never believe it. Okay, now we've got to start living in that and believing that in our own way. How oft, there's a verse of Scripture that says, how oft would I have gathered you gathered your children under my wings as a mother hen, but you would not. So when we go to him, we don't mean it when we say, our Father. He said, look, you're a father, and you being evil know how to do good for your kids. Don't you think I know how to fix this? I can do it. But I'm not going to try and trick you. We were coming in late after an accelerated Bible study some years ago, and we were just talking about that. And there was that watching a watch and jumping out of a truck and going in for bread and milk, and a truck pulled up, and I saw a sign on this truck, and it was about ready to fall apart, and it went clink, 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 and it had a sign on it, and the sign read, "In God we trust." And the Lord spoke to me about that because that was that important. If it's in God we trust, why am I going around like a nervous wreck? Why do I cry when I can't figure something out? Why do I stomp my foot if that's the way you would say, no, that's the way I do it. I stomp my foot. What good does it do? So the Lord is trying to talk to us and say, look, I'm your Heavenly Father, and I'm in the business of doing exceeding abundant. I'm going to say that a third time. Exceeding in abundance above all that you could ever ask or think. Plan on it. It's bankable. I'm so glad to visit with you again today. For the rest of the week, we promise, sort of, hopefully we'll keep it, that we'll let him do what he knows to do, and he will make it where we look like in God we trust. Thank you so much for being you. Father, we thank you for the privilege of coming, for listening. Thank you for caring so much, and we give you the praise. In the name of the Lord, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Amen. See you next time.
back in the house. D Nice here. And now, as I promised you, we're going to meet the beautiful ladies that we have on our panel today that are our hostesses, so and our special guests. Mm-hmm. So let me bring in these ladies as I bring in, and let's start out with Miss Makita. You guys know her and her music. There's not too many songs you can turn on now and not hear her hook or her voice in the songs. And we're getting to where we can play this game of, can you identify what song Makita is on?
I know, right?
You know what I'm saying? So, Makita, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you. Always good to see the family from KTYM.media. Good to see you, Facebook family, once again. Hey, I see all the family out there on Facebook. Yes, family, we are all okay. Praise God. We made it through the fires. Everything. I want you all to know we are safe, thank God. Yes, there are some that experience tragedy, and we're praying for them and their families, acknowledging all of it. But I'm so grateful that I can honestly say I saw the hand of God this week in a wonderful way. So I'm acknowledging that, and I'm giving him all the glory.
God is good, because I know when I called you, it was like late, and it was like, well, I see it behind my house on the ridge, and I was like, "Oh Lord, please!" Everybody, my attorney's in Calabasas, and I just sent him my paperwork and whatever else, finishing up, something I had going on, and I'm like, "Okay." After I sent it, emailed it, are they still there? Because all of Calabasas is gone. I got friends of mine in Malibu, and I call, "Are you guys all right?" It's like all the rich places are burning down. Come on now.
Gone.
I'm not saying any conspiracy theory is happening, but I know God is in control.
Yeah.
All right, and so we have our next guest. Our next host that we're going to bring on to it. This is our newest host that we have here, and it's a blessing to have you on. And this is Kiana. So, Kiana, how you be?
I am doing well, grateful, and happy to be here.
Yay!
Fought through the LA traffic, but I'm here, safe, and feeling very, very grateful to be with my family.
That's right.
I'm glad to have you.
Talk about the topics of the week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ready.
It's been crazy because a lot of it is going to affect people's mental health. They got to. So, I know I would be stressing myself if my place was on fire. I'd be like, wait a second. There goes my rent, my mortgage, my house, my horses, and too much.
Yes.
And this young lady here that we're bringing into you right now.
Wonderful guest.
I've known this lady for a few years with an organization called Toastmasters.
Yes.
And I was blessed to be able to see and hear her speeches, and I was very moved by her speeches and the way she just carried herself. And one avenue that I had to really see a different side of her and get to know her more is when I was at a training facility that we do for Toastmasters for our training. And we were in the lobby, and the lady I'm talking to, after you here, was here. Yeah. And all of a sudden, she just started looking like she was dancing without the music. It was something out of a movie because it was slow motion. It was very graceful, like I was just playing, and she was dancing across the furniture. So I'm looking at my other people. We're OGs in the place, and I'm like, okay, now something's going on, but we didn't know what was going on, right? And so she must have done this for about 2 minutes, going there and then coming back. Right. And then later, when we approached her to make sure she was all right, we called the paramedics and whatever. Then she had a glassy look in her eye. And later when the paramedics came, then not once did she hit the floor.
Wow.
To find out that she had a seizure.
Wow.
And so me and everybody else, our look at a seizure is you fall on the floor, you start convulsing, and foam comes out your mouth.
Exactly.
But this was not what she did. She told me about how she does it and how she cools herself down and calms herself down with it. Beautiful. And so that opened my eyes. And after that, it was like, okay, we've got to let the world know about this because, this is new. And then she started talking to me about different seizures and how many different ones. And so this woman of God, I just said, you know what? I'm doing a radio show. I need you to get in here and talk to these people because we got holidays coming in.
Yeah.
We've got stuff that comes on that happens around our family. We don't know what to recognize.
Yeah.
And you blessed me on some of the tidbits you gave me, but I want you now to just share it with our listening audience. Some of the things that, now you're a speaker on it. You're an advocate for seizures. And just go ahead and just talk to us about, the seizures, how many there are, and give us a little education on what
The beautiful
Affy Bell. Thank you for coming.
Well, thanks a lot. It's good to be here, and I'm glad to get the word out.
Yes.
I'm really motivated to all of us to get informed because you're not the only one. 95% of Americans have no idea about epilepsy.
Yes.
Where 98% of Americans know all about HIV and AIDS. And that's 0.05% of America.
Wow.
0.5%. But yet all of us are informed. Where 1% of America is overcoming epilepsy, and 95% of this country has no idea what's going on.
Right.
And that's why I'm passionate about all of us understanding that there's 40 types of seizures. And again, as you were seeing, people see me do these weird moves, and like, what? Assuming, I thought you were high. And just assuming the negative. But when you don't assume negative and expect it, because that's why I wear my medical ID bracelet.
Okay.
And that's what these pretty bracelets here.
Right.
And people are like, oh, I just thought that was a pretty bracelet. I didn't know it had the details.
Right.
But if you look at it, you see how it has my
your
name.
name and everything.
It says epilepsy. On the back of it is the emergency contact.
Wow.
So you don't call 911. And again, there's 40 types of seizures. And that's why people can do all kind of weird moves. Because that's my favorite analogy is reminder, you guys, about Socrates, Julius Caesar, Prince, Flojo, Harriet Tubman. They all had epilepsy.
Right.
And none of them had the grandmas where they fell and shook. And Socrates and Prince and Julius Caesar as well, they were born with theirs when they were little kids.
Right.
And those are called petite mal seizures.
Wow.
And these petite mals are more where they're just standing there with their eyes hazed. And it could be a whole minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. It can be more. But a lot of seizures can be less than 5 minutes and under.
Wow.
If it's 5 minute seizure, it's not an emergency. Because unfortunately, everybody who has epilepsy is having seizures on a regular basis. So 5 minutes is not an emergency. Anything over 5 minutes, is 6 minutes, that's when you can open your eyes. But if it's a 5 minute seizure, they're normal. So you don't need to call 911.
Just let it ride.
Just let it see. And again, there's the 5 steps. First, you're going to make sure that the person is in a safe zone.
Right.
Because
No hitting your
the people
head.
who are grandmas, of course, you're thinking about them falling and shaking. So,
Yes.
of course, you're going to keep them on their left hand.
Yes.
Might turn on whichever side they need, and they won't hit their head. But people like me, I'm overcoming complex partial. And that is where it's a sleepwalk. I'm doing all these moves and my eyes are wide open, but I have no clue. I don't know what's going on. You guys have to tell me afterwards. And so again, if I'm walking, as you said, you saw me that time for about 2 minutes doing a dance.
Yeah.
If I'm doing any kind of weird moves, you can tell me afterwards. You can even video it to me, and so I can save it for my records.
Right.
Because again, we don't have any idea
What you do.
This has been going on for me for 70% of my life, 19 years,
Oh.
and I have only seen one video one time about it. So that's why people are looking at me this way. So it would keep all of us on the same page.
Wow.
But I just simply want you all to know the 5 steps. 'Cause
Right.
number one, time is everything.
Okay.
So if you look at your clock, when you see somebody doing a weird move, look at your clock. And again, if it's 5 minutes and under, it's not an emergency.
Okay.
And number two, you're going to just, of course, keep their area safe and make sure that you're helping them in that one. So the people who have the grandmas, you might have to turn them on their side, not hitting their head. But the rest of us who are not doing those big moves, just keep the area safe, that area that they're around. And then ask them, number 3, ask them a detailed question.
Okay.
Because 95% of us are unaware. We've lost consciousness while this is going on. So if you're asking us a detailed question, that's when we're forced to start thinking in our minds and having a conversation with you. So when we come back and actually can speak with you, it shows that we're back to consciousness. But when we can't speak with you, we're still not in consciousness. So do that one, because apparently we can do the basic questions. People have said that they've asked me, where I've answered yes or no, or I've told them my name.
Right.
So don't ask the basic questions.
Right.
But what day of the year is this, Afi?
Right.
What is your middle name, and what does it mean? Or what did you have for breakfast? What did you make for lunch last night? Yesterday for dinner? So just have a detailed question. And when that can come back, when I come back to consciousness, that's when you just don't give up. Because the people's like, well, how much time is this going to take? That's the whole point. You just stay there until that person's back to consciousness. And number 5, you don't go away. And you just tell that person all the things that just happened so they can keep it for their records.
Okay.
Because we write this down and we take it to our doctors. We keep it in our own calendar so we can just be prepared when we're recognizing that.
Wow.
For our own reasons.
Wow.
And that's my thing is many folks, again, Americans are not aware. And that's why many of us who are overcoming epilepsy are keeping it to ourselves. Because you will be rejected so fast outside. Because people are assuming the negative so quickly.
This is making me tear up. I mean, like, I think I shared with you 2 weeks ago, my cousin, my first cousin, and we always called each other the sister cousins because our mothers were sisters, and there were boys, all boys, and then it was her and I first until my mother remarried, gave me another beautiful sister, and I got a whole bunch of beautiful stepsisters. Well, we never used the word step, but I got, but she was my first sister, but she, our whole life, I don't know when she was diagnosed, but we just lost her 2 weeks ago to an epileptic seizure. I had no clue that Aisha had epilepsy at all. And it's like you said, what I was hearing is that she had weird behavior. So they just didn't know because she never said, as far as as all the information has been given to me, it was never clarified to the family that she was epileptic. So she was apparently harboring this and dealing with it. And it eventually it took her life at such a young age. She was 44 years old. So, I mean, this is like, it grieves my heart, but it's also bringing me enlightenment and awareness that I did not have. And then talking to her eldest brother, my other cousin, he just told me he has seizures now. So, I mean, I'm going, whoa. So is this something that I need to look out for because of our mothers being sisters? Is this something genetic? Is it, how does this happen? Is it something that happens in our brain that can be passed down to our children? Do you know anything about
That's
that?
Why it's different for everyone.
For everyone.
I brought up how Socrates, Julius, and Prince, they had some in their blood in their family before.
Right.
So that's why they were having it when they were little kids.
Right.
Whereas people like, it didn't happen to me until I was in college. And it was there, and then I was just starting feeling some deja vu. Yeah. And I should have kept it to myself because when I Googled, I didn't get enough details of what was the purpose of deja vu. I wasn't complaining. I was just like, didn't I dream this last week?
Wow.
Like, I felt like I dreamt this or something. Wow. Interesting. I wasn't complaining. I was just asking, what's the point? Am I going to figure out what's going to happen next week? Right. And then as I asked too many questions, my family, let's just call a doctor. I'm like, isn't there a scientist or something? I was thinking that. But they take me to a doctor, and the doctor's like, don't you know? You're actually having a seizure. Here, start taking this medicine. Wow. As soon as I started taking that, it messed me up. That's when I started having the sleepwalks. And that didn't help out. I'm sorry, let's increase this dose. Well, let's try another one. That's what happened with me. But there's different reasons. And again, Harriet Tubman, she didn't get a seizure until she got raped. And that was the brain injury. And that's why this is all in your brain. This is not your regular part of your body. And this is a brain.
Tina, as most people know, I was a background singer for Tina Marie for almost the last 6 years of her life. And what was that, 09 is when I left because I was expecting a child. But and then she transitioned in 10. But she started having seizures after a pitcher hit her on the head. She got hit, it was like out of nowhere. And then she started having seizures like the last, at least 2.5 years that I was there. She had started having seizures. I didn't know we were in Target playing around, acting like kids, like racing with the carts. And all of a sudden she was like, Kita, 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 Kita. because that's what she, instead of saying Makita, she would just say Kita. And I looked down like, what? I thought she was playing, but she was having a seizure. I had never seen it ever, but she was just like you were saying. I thought she was dancing and cutting up with me, but she was literally going through a seizure. Oh, I'm getting emotional. But yeah, so 2 people that I have loved with every fiber of my being have left this earth like that, and I think we really, really, really need to know what it looks like, what we're supposed to do when we see you go through these phases. Of course, for Tina, of course, for Aisha, they were sleeping. They were both taking naps. So no one was in the room with them. So this is why we lost them, but because no one was there to turn her over. There was, regurgitation, everything, and her air supply, both of them, their air supply was cut off. So therefore, they, this is how they transitioned. They suffocated. So my question is, if you were to go into a seizure, okay, you said first thing, if it's 5 minutes or under, be aware that we just let you ride it out. But if it's 6 minutes, and I pray everyone is listening to this, 6 minutes or over, is that the time when we're supposed to look at your bracelet, find out your information, and call the appropriate number to get you the appropriate help that you need? Is there anything that we should do? That is the people that are there. If it's over 6 minutes, should we hold you up? Should we do the whole get your wallet or something and make sure your mouth is supported? Are these things that
different, right? Again, if it is the grand balls,
yes,
but don't put anything in anybody's house, because that was something that they told in the past,
right?
And people put the wrong thing. People actually swallowed bad things,
right?
So don't put in, even though that you might think that they're going to bite or hurt,
right?
But there are certain new things you can't really put in their mouth,
right?
So don't focus on that one.
Right.
But again, the steps you are going to hold down the whole time and see how much time. So when they can come back to consciousness and speak to you, that's when you're going to be able to tell them what just happened and inform them so they can keep it in their records. But either way, you can call the emergency contact and that person can tell you probably what they're expecting and how much longer it's taking. So you can just give them that calendar one.
Wow.
And that's why, again, as long as they have it for their records.
Okay.
Just don't give up, because people are like, I don't know how long this is. They get scared off and run.
Right.
But if we can just keep this in our record and just like, okay, this is how much time it took and this is the moves that you made, and that's how the person is going to be able to be aware, and they'll be grateful, because more people get scared off.
Right.
You realize, you see how pretty I am, and that's another reason why I'm single. Because all these men who will go out with me, I only get the young guys, because I can't act. I get the older men hitting on me all the time. But the older men,
I concur.
I don't care if you have epilepsy. I don't care if you have epilepsy.
Right.
But if I'm looking for a guy in their 30s, so okay,
yeah,
guys in their 30s and 40s, and they'll take me out, and then I can't act. The one time a few years ago, I went out with this NBA looking guy. He was 6'4". He bought me flowers. I was like, wow, okay, this is my type. I'm like, thank you. I'm looking forward to a good date. And the next thing I know, we're walking to the car, but we're on the shoulder of the 405, not moving. I said, I thought we were going to the movies. Why are we sitting here? He said, you're just now talking to me. I said, oh my gosh, I must have just had a seizure. I said, look at this. This is my emergency contact. Long and short, I shared him the details I just shared with you. He's like, oh, okay. You can feel the vibe.
Right, you already knew.
He still takes me to the movies.
Right.
He takes me home, drops me off, and then blocks my number. He doesn't want to talk to me.
It was shut down,
And many other guys, as soon as they hear about this, but I was like, okay, I learned my lesson. Let me not shock them before. Let me tell them beforehand. But if I tell them very quickly, a lot of guys, let me call you back in 10 minutes. I have something that just came up. I'll call you right back.
Right.
I won't hear from them again.
Right.
So when I can get America
but those are good.
to
I want you gone anyway.
Everybody,
right.
That we females, we won't be rejected. People won't be like, and they know they don't have to hide things.
Well, I would have to say that, the fact that you are an advocate and you're speaking on this, knowledge, I mean, it's so cliche, but knowledge definitely is power. And as you speak about these things, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, thanks, sis.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Not knowing what to do. People who have epilepsy have been diagnosed with it, feeling like, who can I talk to about this? Because we're not educated on it. I didn't know about 40 different... this is a powerful piece of information that you're relaying, because now I think as people begin to listen and then maybe we could do our own research because, we don't know all the answers. Did you hit
But
your
tell
head?
them to go to endepilepsy.org because I'm an advocate to the Epilepsy Foundation.
Endepilepsy.org
has all kind of details because this is the Epilepsy Foundation of
Right.
the internet of the whole country.
Okay.
And they have
Good.
all these resources.
Good.
And that's why I'm happily bringing you guys the 5 steps on how to handle the seizures.
Okay.
And they have all that right there. But you can also go to my website, afibell.com, as I have the video over there
Yes.
and the 5 steps. But here are the ways that you help the people. Don't get turned off.
Yes.
But I'm just also grateful that all we have to do is get more people aware.
Right.
Because as soon as people realize it, that's when they're like, oh, okay, I can help you.
And I also heard you say, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I also heard you say to not leave you. That it's important to not leave the person who's having the seizure.
Right.
So that is something, people sometimes panic in a situation, but I think by you giving us those 5 steps, we can kind of,
You see where
figure
it
out
comes.
what to do, how to best help the person. And then talking you were saying talk to you because
Right.
if you're not answering, you're not conscious. So as we
Right.
talk,
Holding a conversation,
Right.
but don't just ask the yes or no answer.
Right.
Right.
Basic, apparently we can still answer that.
Right, right.
And it shows you how strong your subconscious mind is, though.
Right.
If you realize how strong, that's why you be careful about what you're saying out loud all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's why I stay an energized sister, keeping my youthfulness. And all the other folks who get in the habit, oh, I am so tired. I am so irritated. They're saying this all the time, and that's why they stay tired and irritated because they're saying these negative things.
Yeah.
it's true.
So speak into existence.
Life and
what you
death
want. And
is in the power
word.
of your tongue. It
And
is
your mind
right
accepts
there.
what you're expecting.
Out of the heart does the mouth speak. And when God says out of the heart does the mouth speak, he is not talking about this. He's talking about this. Your spiritual heart is your mind. And that's so important that we're educated on that we walk in enlightenment of that. Because it's like you said, it's power, sis. It's when you understand, when you know better, you do better.
Yes.
But when you're expecting it, because again, that's why I walk down all my family who loves me to death. Why are you trying to walk at night by yourself? What are you talking about? Don't you know one of us can be going with you? But when you don't live with everybody, you can't get folks. It's like, hey, I gotta go. I'm not gonna stop living my life.
Right.
I go out there.
You don't
And
let it
yes,
rule
think
you.
about when I was in front of that. I was over in Lamert Park. I went to that bank over there by that park. And anyway, I had coming back out of the bank to walk back to the mall area. And anyway, I had a seizure right then. So I used to live right over there by the mall.
Yeah.
And in front of the liquor bank. If you
Yeah.
know that one.
Wow.
And that's why that I was always sticks out in my mind because the guy who saw me, I come back to myself and he's handing me my purse and my phone. He said, "What? I thought you were high." Oh, well, here you go. Here's your phone and your purse. What just happened? He just had me explain everything to him. And then he walks me back to my house. I used to live right there on 39.
bless him.
And he walked me. He was like, but more people do this all the time because even I'm not allowed to drive. I have to go 6 months without a seizure before the license will ever come back to me.
Wow.
So long and short, I grew up here in LA, but I live in Marina now. I haven't been to the South Bay Galleria because we were in Redondo Beach and Palos Verdes, all that Carson area.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to the South Bay Galleria to check it out. I haven't seen it. But I was on the bus. And the next thing I know, a man is looking at me and holding. I'm like, what? I was on the bus. What? Why am I outside?
Wow.
He told me I ran off of the bus. And all my purse and my phone is in the middle of the street. And he's like, hello, ma'am, hello. I won't pick anything up. He picks it up and gets my attention.
Oh.
And he didn't recognize the medical ID bracelet.
Right.
But he grabs my phone and calls the word dad himself.
Oh.
He called dad, and my dad explained, oh my goodness, that she
Bless
just
him
had
for
a
that.
seizure.
That
And he and my
is-
dad told him my name and said, okay, I'm going to send her Aunt Frankie. And that's why he knew my name. He said, Afi, that's why I know your name. Your Auntie Frankie is about to come and get you. I'm like,
Oh, that warms my heart.
And so I'm still coming
such
to
a
my
mushy.
consciousness. I'm like,
That's
oh.
just like,
But my
oh.
dad was very grateful, and my aunt picked me up.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And I'm grateful. Nobody has ever stolen anything
That's
from me
beautiful.
once when I have a seizure.
That's
Everybody
beautiful.
is handing me my phone and my purse back.
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
And I want to show that that's alive in this country. Everybody's looking
Yeah.
at the negative news.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
have to get the news to start seeing this positive.
Right.
And expect the positive things to
It
happen.
will come to you.
And that's why I opened my YouTube channel, positive, good news.
Good.
So we can have the news reports positively.
That's right.
And I'm doing this weekly, so we can have a good, positive news.
Good.
Please share this with me so we can get the whole country
Wow.
to see the good
That's
things.
right.
And we can all start carrying ourselves with a loving thing.
I'm proud of you for that.
Me too.
Expecting great things.
Well, family, I'm sorry, honey, not to cut you off. Family, I really, really, really want you to pay attention to the fact that there are 5 steps and at epilepsy.com or .org, I'm sorry, endepilepsy.org. And this is their first aid steps. Stop to help and start tracking the time. That's the first thing. Turn the person on their side. That's second. Put something soft under their head, a pillow, your jacket. Make sure that the person is safe from harm. Make sure that they're nowhere near appliances and tables and different things where they can be injured. And number 5, stay until the person is fully aware again. These things are so very important, family. I cannot tell you what this is doing for my healing, I think. And I just wish I had known a little bit more, a little bit sooner. But please, family, let's all pay attention that this is an epidemic in our community, and it's silent. But right now we are blowing the trumpet. So listen to the alarm and apply the necessary tactics to help save someone's life. I pray we all get this. I pray we all apply this. And I also pray that you do your own research in your own time.
But also encourage those who are overcoming epilepsy.
Yes.
Go to endepilepsy.org, which is the second Sunday of the month. All of us who are overcoming it meet from 12:30 to 2:30 and encourage each other and share our stories. So all of us who are going through it, you can come and join me on the second Sunday. It's over by LAX at 5777 West Century Boulevard.
Please, everybody, thank you so much for bringing us aware of this seizure, this epilepsy, and what it has done in our community, that we may take power over it, that it no longer has power over us. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, Afi.
You know what?
Amazing.
Okay, well, that was a lot of information, and we'll be back. We're going to take a quick break. We started out the show with a segment called Outside My Yellow Window. And that was in memory of my mother. My mother was a radio show host for years. I grew up like that. And that was her segment that she saw raising her kids, looking outside her yellow window. And so that was very inspirational to me. So I send it out.
That voice.
Much love to my mom, no longer here, but much love for that one there. And we're going to be right back after this one. I have a song that really, since the day I've heard it, it just really touched my spirit and talks volume into what we're doing. When you listen to music and you hear the vocals and then you hear the words that touch your spirit, this is what this song is all about. And it is from our very own Miss Makita here. And I'm going to let you guys sit back and just vibe on it. So just one here from Makita. Sit back, relax, and watch with your ears.
On the day you found me, I was hurt and so confused, dead inside, yet alive, didn't know what to do. But then you found me and chose me, and you showed me what to do. And there's no greater love than the love I have for you. There is no greater love than the love I have for you. You reached the deepest part way. Surrendered my will, that's when you began to heal me and deliver me from all of my ways. 'Cause when you found me, you chose me, and you showed me what to do. And there's no greater love than the love I have for you. There is no greater love than the love I have for you. You reach the deepest part of me, and there's nothing I wouldn't do. There is no greater love than the love I have for you. So no one can love me like you do. It's so pure, so honest, and so true. Abiding in your love, so my heart will overflow. Oh, you breathe the life back into me. Now everyone will know. No, there is no greater love than the love I have for you. Oh no, you reach the deepest part of me, and there is nothing I wouldn't do. Oh, and there is no greater love than the love I have. No, no greater love than the love I have for you. Oh no, you reached down, found a part of me I never ever knew, and there is no greater love than the love I have for you. It's all about you. See, nobody can love me like you do. All praises to you. There's no greater love, no greater love than the love I have for you.
And that is true. I'm telling you. All right. That was from Makita. I've known her over 15 years, and that's my ride or die. Everybody, I'm telling you, everybody's got to have a ride or die. We've been through it. I've watched her. I knew the kids from when they're babies. Now they're grown and doing their own thing. It's a blessing to have somebody that God has given your life that just, you know what I'm saying, no greater love. That understands no greater love, because that's God in himself, and he gives us a chance to do that. And that's what we're doing today on the Gospel Jazz Connection. We do that each and every week right here, same time, same channel, bringing you the love, Gospel Jazz Connection. And I have my two hostesses with the mostest in the house. Love them. They are just so special, aren't they? Kiana, just an expert when it comes down to the mental health aspect, and Makita does her thing with her experiences, and she's also a part of the television show that we produce every week, and she'll tell you more about that one there. But I'm going to get out the way right now because these ladies have a lot to talk about. I'd like to hear them talking. So, ladies, kick it.
Well, I really wanted to slide over and talk to Kiana a little bit. Since with the recent tragedies that have happened here in Cali, we have had a mass shooting. The Mari twins, Tia and Tamara, they lost their niece. She was there at the bar and grill dancing with some friends, and not just the people that died, but all the aftermath. Yeah. And then we had the fires. Yeah. And these were elite homes. This wasn't the hood. Right. This was, woo. Yeah. I mean, Paradise was one of the communities. I remember hearing, you better not drive through Paradise, there, Malibu, the beach homes. I mean, they started the mills. Oh, yeah. So, I'm saying all that to say, like, the aftermath of all these tragedies, what do we share with our people? What can we tell them? Where do we start the healing, sis?
Well, there's a couple of different things that have gone on. You brought up the shootings. Mm-hmm. You brought up the loss of homes. Mm-hmm. People losing everything.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to start with the shootings first, because that tragedy happened first. And I'm calling it a tragedy.
It was.
I believe 12 people lost their lives,
yes.
Right? And so I want to make the distinction, because I think it's already challenging enough for people who have been diagnosed with mental health conditions. Mm-hmm. They already feel like there's a stigma. But I want to be clear about gun violence,
please,
in mental health.
Please.
Because I think the media, they paint this picture, this broad picture, that people who have or been diagnosed with mental illness are violent. Right. And so I have some statistics. I actually brought some from the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And I want to read that because I think it's important for people to know that people who have mental illness are not violent necessarily. So I want to start with that before I get to the healing piece, because I think that's an important distinct, it's
Thank
important.
you. Yes, we need to be educated.
Absolutely. So there is a certain risk factor for violence, okay? Typically, it's a person that has a history of violence, substance abuse, and untreated symptoms of psychosis, okay? Such evidence suggests that most people with mental illness will never become violent, right. And that mental illness does not cause violence.
Right.
It doesn't. So while the relationship between mental illness and gun violence is low, we do need reasonable options.
Exactly.
Like, what do we do with this? Maybe law enforcement, and I say this, if law enforcement can act on credible community and family concerns when there's a high risk.
Yes.
That could be a solution. But people, I want to stress it, people who have mental illness are not necessarily going to be violent.
Yes, you're right.
They're not. 1 in 5 are affected by mental illness in any given year. That's 1 in 5 people.
Wow.
Okay? 1 in 17 have a serious mental illness, such as schizophrenia,
yes, bipolar
bipolar disorder, major depression, and other conditions that may cause impairment in daily functioning.
Wow.
Okay? So, research shows that 4% of all people who have mental illness, only 4% may become violent. So I just want to give that distinction and be very clear about that.
I'm so glad you said that. That was so important to me, because you know me. I have to. I'm learning to be. I will never not be myself. I'm a straight shooter. My grandmother says, "Call a thing a thing." Yes. You know what I mean? And so, to me, I'm I'm sorry, when it's in our neck of the woods, we're just violent.
Right.
When it's in other neck of the woods, it's a mental illness.
Right.
And that grieves me, and not only grieves me, it there's a vehement anger
Yes.
that happens in my soul.
Yes.
Because we are not, if the truth be told, yes, we do understand our community needs to heal from black on black crime. We understand that there has been violence in our neighborhoods. We understand, we're very clear on that. But it is very seldom that you hear, we walk in churches and shoot 50, 25 babies, kids, elders. We don't do that, but we're always labeled as the most violent. Someone walked in a place and shot 12 people on purpose, not accidentally on purpose, on purpose, and now we're trying to create a mental disease. Some folk are just evil, sis. Help me if I'm wrong, because my thing is, we can't heal if we don't call the thing the thing.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And so while we're allowing, we sit and believe that just us, because of our circumstances, and because we're from the so-called hood and we don't have certain things and we were fatherless and blah blah blah, that we're all violent. No, we're not. Some of the most prophetic, wonderful business owners, intelligent men are straight out of Compton.
That's right.
I love that. Straight out the jungle. And they're amazing. They turned the hood into a multi-million-dollar conglomerate. So it's like, stop allowing that stigma to take root in your heart, that we believe that we're less than. Because if the truth is told, it's on the role is really reversed. Sorry, it really is. I mean, yeah, we will. I always call it suicide. We'll kill ourselves before we walk in and kill someone else. I mean, that's just predominantly the way it is. And there's so many different things that fall into that equation, sis. And those are the things that we don't dialogue. We don't dialogue that we had a mentality that what my father always called the Willie Lynch syndrome, that we really needed to learn how to murder him for real, for real. Yeah. He used to say, for real, murder him. Because there was a formula created to cause us to do what we do. And so there's a mental detox that needs to go on in our community, and I'm clear about that. And I don't ostracize that there's a truthing to that. But I refuse to allow that stigma to just be upon my family. You understand? Because there's a healing that needs to go on in every community.
Well, I think that this show in particular, and your role and your platform, and what we're doing in terms of educating and presenting another, example, so to speak, of how we relate to each other.
Yes.
As women.
Yeah.
As women of African descent.
Yes.
I think that the media, for years, when you talk about Willie Lynch, has put this, in this community, it's a mental health condition. Right. But in this community, they're crazy.
Right.
Well,
no.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So for us to be able to sit here today and speak about this,
yes,
and educate, it's like unlearning,
yes,
what we've been taught and what we've learned.
Right. I really believe that one of the main things that we have to start addressing, first of all, I'm so honored to look at two beautiful black queens and tell you I love you for everything I am.
Grateful for each other.
Like, with everything I am, I love you, and I want you to fly big. I want you to succeed in everything that you put your hand to do. I want God to increase it 100-fold. That we're not cussing at each other and calling each other the B word. We're not wishing each other death and trying to annihilate one another. And we have to start healing by telling each other the truth and speaking that kind of love over one another. Got you. And well, you know me, I can go on forever because I want us to heal. And we have to come back next Friday and continue to talk about healing in this our mindset. That's the kingdom. Either we're going to get it here, what we said, what the mind does, then the rest will follow. And so we need you on every level. Thank you so much, Afi, for being here. We
Sure.
love you. Please tell us about
great.
your
And just
shirt.
Remember how all of us can walk around and carry ourselves and show that we're loving people.
Yeah.
So here's my shirt that I carry everywhere. I'm simply trying to get all of you guys to help me make the signature of the country, the high five or pump. Or thumbs up. Just
right,
pump
boo.
the 5 people you do not know, and show that we're loving people.
That's
so that
right.
I'm very competitive. When you're
Connect.
looking at the Olympics and you see all the other countries that'll kiss on their cheeks.
Yes.
Which countries are
They
those?
love each other.
France,
Yeah,
Italy.
yeah,
we
they
all
love
seem to
each
know
other.
that right
So-
away.
so how can-
America has to start having a positive love.
So how can they reach out?
If they go to my website,
Okay.
afibell.com, and you can just click on the shirt and just request it.
They
right
are
here.
so cute.
And you just high five and let's make it normal.
Yeah.
'Cause everybody will run up to a little 2-year-old, little
Yeah.
5-year-old and give them love.
Yeah.
Or people will run up to dogs and
Yeah.
pet the dog.
Got it.
But when all of us human beings over 20 can't get love.
Right, exactly.
Come on.
I just
Well,
pray that everybody.
Passing love is passing God.
That's it. I pray that everyone continues to do the work. We have to work out our own soul salvation, meaning you got to get your place in space. If it's with your God, if it's with you, your family, your friends, you have to do the work. And I pray that we all as a community continue to heal and grow. And I just speak love, prayer, and peace over everyone that has lost a loved one in these fires, in these shootings, and due to epilepsy. Shout out once again to my family. I love you guys, and I'm just praying that as we lay Aisha to rest this weekend, that there's healing that goes on. Daryl, come on, D Nice, give us the last word, my king.
You know what? It's been a long road, and we're not finished yet. But thank you, ladies, for coming in and sharing some insight, helping people understand and get with it. And so, from our guest, Appy Bell, thank you for coming. From our host, Kiana, and from Makita, from Lady D, get well, from Miss Monica, known as Miss M. This is D Nice, and what I say each and every week: put God first, and everything else will follow. I guarantee it.